It's a regular event. Our first agenda item is item 1.01, welcome prayer and pledge of allegiance. Everyone please stand for the prayer and remain standing for the pledge of allegiance. Ms. Morrison Fair, our secretary, will lead us in the prayer. Thank you, Ms. Morrison Fair.
C.S. Lewis once said, "You cannot go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." Let us bow our heads and humble our hearts as we come before the Lord in prayer. Dear God, during this season of Thanksgiving, let us always be mindful of our many blessings. Give us wisdom to change and impact the ending as we work together to accomplish the numerous tasks and challenges that present themselves daily. Teach us to be kind and respectful, acknowledging that we are all have one goal, and that is student success. Heavenly Father, we simply say thank you for your bountiful mercies and your grace. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Morrison Fair. And Ms. Middleton is going to introduce our guest who will be leading us in the pledge tonight. Ms. Middleton.
Tonight we welcome Juan Ortega to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Juan is a second grade student at Oakview Elementary School. His principal describes him as a natural helper. He has a great attitude and is a hard worker. His teacher from last year notes that Juan is such a kind and caring friend. He greets everyone with a smile. He always looks out for the well-being of others, whether by lending a helping hand or cheering up someone who's feeling down. Juan arrived at Oakview last year with limited English ability, but with an extreme eagerness to learn. The goal for multilingual learners is to progress 4 levels over the course of 1 school year in Lexia, a specialized software program. Juan is so motivated and gets so excited about advancing through the program that he progressed 7 levels in 1 year. He entered first grade knowing around half of his letters and sounds and finished the year reading above grade level. Juan's father says that their family is extremely thankful for so much love and warmth toward him they have witnessed every time they visit the school. They are deeply proud of Juan and his sister Maria and feel blessed and thankful for their strong children. As for the future, ever since his parents bought him his first telescope, Juan has aspired to someday work for NASA, either as an astronaut or in some other capacity. We know that Juan's potential is limitless. Juan is joined tonight by his father, Jesus Ortega, his mother, Danny Mendoza, his sister Maria, and his principal, Dr. Philip Rivas. Juan, please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and you may be seated. Juan, thank you again for leading us in the pledge tonight, and I'll just have to say that was a very inspiring write-up, Ms. Middleton. Thank you so much. And where's Mr. Revis? Mr. Revis, we also appreciate our principals. Thank you so much for being here tonight as well. Y'all have a great evening. At this time, I'd also like to recognize our Vice Chair, Debbie Bush. Although she's not here, she sent us this beautiful arrangement. She always does, she always has a big heart, and she always makes us feel special on board night. So, Debbie, if you're listening, thank you for the beautiful flowers tonight. Our second item on the agenda is 2.01, the Miracle Worker Awards. So at this time, I'm going to step to a different microphone, and I'm going to share some miracle workers among us from Severe Middle. And I'll just say before I step down, what an honor it is for me as board chair to recognize and acknowledge the miracle workers among us. It's a season of Thanksgiving. Even though Thanksgiving is behind us, we're still thankful, and I'll just say that it's a great award to present tonight because it really represents an opportunity for us to be thankful for our excellent staff. So I'm going to step. At this time, I'd like for the miracle workers from Severe Middle School to come stand up here beside me. Just stand up, and each of you will be getting an award, but for now, I'd like for you to come up here so that people can see you, and I'm going to read about your miracle. These are outstanding individuals right here. Tonight, it is my honor as your board chair to present the Miracle Workers Award to 9 heroic Greenville County staff members. On November the 9th, Severe Middle School 8th grade student Willa King was running on the track during PE class. After 2 laps, she suddenly collapsed. Her PE teacher, Jamie Conley, ran to her immediately. Finding her to be unresponsive, he called for the first responder team and began administering aid. The first responder team, led by the school nurse, Ann Snipes, detected no pulse and no breath, and they sprang into action. They began CPR and attached the AED while waiting for the arrival of EMS. Following protocol, when Willa's heartbeat and breathing did not restart, they administered a shock with the AED. In all, CPR was administered for about 5 minutes, probably the longest 5 minutes everyone involved ever experienced. Willa was transported to the hospital and stabilized there. It turns out that she has a rare hereditary arrhythmia. She had surgery last week at MUSC to ensure her future health and safety. Her doctor stated that if school personnel had not administered CPR and AED and simply waited for EMS to arrive, she would not have survived. Because of their preparation and readiness to follow their training, the Severe first responder team literally saved her life. Chad McGuire, principal of Severe Middle School, has a statement from Willa's mother that he's going to read in just a few moments because they're not able to join us tonight. But at this time, I would like for you to please join me in recognizing these amazing individuals that I have up here with me, beside me. They are the Greenville County Schools Board of Trustees Miracle Workers Award winners for tonight. And we would just like to honor them again in responding to an emergency situation and taking action that saved a student's life. How incredible is that story? Yes. Ms. Morrison Fair is going to assist me tonight, and we're going to present some awards to those who are present with us. And for those who are not present, we're going to give those to Mr. McGuire to carry back. Our first hero tonight is Mr. Jacob Bagley. Thank you, Mr. Bagley. Our second hero tonight is Jamie Conley. Our third hero is Mr. Brian Falls. Mr. Jeffrey Forrester. Miss Amy Snipes. Dana Swartzel. Savannah Williams. And not present with us tonight is Christine Plumere and Master Deputy Jason Brooks. We have an award for them, a hero award. If you will take those back, Mr. McGuire. And at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. McGuire to step up to the mic and to read this statement from Willis family.
Thank you. And this letter from the family is addressed to the team that I'm very proud of. It's with deepest gratitude that we would like to express our thanks to Willis heroes. Your willingness to work with school children, your dedication to training, your commitment to bravery, strength, and compassion when called to act are not small feats. They are commendable signs of your character that led to saving a precious life. A life now with a chance to grow and learn and live and love, to be the shining light. Smiley Willa, with a perfect amount of sass and confidence we all know and adore. How priceless the gift of being here another day truly is. Thank you from each of us for being miracle workers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. And Mr. McGuire, I just want to say you have a fantastic team at Sevier.
Well, thank you.
Our third matter of business is the adoption of the consent calendar. The consent calendar includes items 3.01 through 3.07. We have a recommended motion from administration to approve the consent calendar as presented. Do we have a maker of the motion? Mrs. Levinas Wells has made a motion. Mrs. Mosley has made a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
before we move on, could we please recognize the Delta Sigma Theta sorority? They are here in red. I think they're Santa's helpers. But I think they're starting our season off with a big smile, and just like to recognize them. If you would just stand up.
Yes, please stand. We're so thrilled to have y'all tonight. Let's give them a big welcoming hand. We appreciate all that you do. Thank you, Ms. Leventis Wells, for that.
The student from Greenville High who is doing a project with the AP, and if he would be so kind as to stand.
Thank you for being here.
I don't think I have any from any of the universities that are doing their work, but anyway, those are our guests. Thank you.
It's always nice to have special guests. And thank you, Ms. Leventis Wells, for bringing those attendees to my attention. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carries. Our fourth item on the agenda is the appearance of visitors. We have two speakers tonight. I'm going to ask Dr. Presley to share the speaking guidelines at this time.
As each speaker's name is called, he or she should proceed to the podium at the end of the board's dais where there is a microphone and a light system. Each speaker has up to 3 minutes to speak to the board. The light system will be green for the first 2 minutes and will turn yellow when 1 minute remains on the speaker's allotted time. In keeping with board policy KCA, abusive language or personal attacks aimed at students or staff members will not be permitted. All speakers are expected to behave in an orderly and respectful manner. The board will not engage in discussion with the speaker or respond to comments. The superintendent will designate a member of the staff to respond to each speaker in an appropriate and timely manner.
Thank you so much, Dr. Presley. Our first speaker is Joseph Farmer.
Thank you. Tonight, I'd like to share with you how the school district is losing tax revenue. Greenville City Historic Review Board is handing out tax assessment freezes to developers. What this means, this appointed board of 5 city residents who have no background in assessments or taxes recently granted a 10-year, $20 million tax assessment freeze to Hughes Investments so they can build an entertainment venue and pickleball courts in Unity Park. This is only one example of what's occurring. The developers have figured out this little wrinkle in the city code and are abusing it. This affects all bodies that use millage to collect revenue. City, county, library, Greenville Tech, Art Museum, and Arena all lose out when this happens. I have proposed to City Council an amendment to the city ordinance that would change this practice. Tonight, I ask that each of you contact the mayor and city council members to support this change. The school district needs to collect property taxes based on fair market value. Our students lose when developers are allowed to avoid paying their fair share. Please call your council and request a change. If anybody would like to speak in more detail, I'll be glad to talk with you. If you don't have my phone number, somebody to your right or left probably does. This is a thing that if we don't nip this now, it's going to get out of hand. There's another proposal up for the old Cook Station with the same thing. It's about $20 million over the course of 10 years. You see how this adds up in a hurry. And it directly affects your millages that are applied to these revenues. Because when I spoke with the county assessor, he said he would honor these tax freezes. What occurs now is in effect for the next decade. So please contact these city council members and the mayor and tell them to approve this amendment that I presented to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer. Our final speaker is Yolanda Crittenden Jones.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Yolanda Crittenden-Jones, and I am the Community Advocacy and Government Affairs Coordinator for Public Education Partners. And tonight I am joined by our teacher fellows, and I kindly ask them to stand. This marks the third cohort of our program. The Teacher Fellows is a half-year policy and advocacy fellowship. Participants engage in bi-monthly meetings to glean insights from experts, delve into discussions on education policy in South Carolina, and enhance their advocacy skills. We are here tonight to observe a board meeting as a part of our curriculum. Earlier this month, we had the privilege of hosting Dr. Stiles and Mr. Sailors as our guest speakers, and we sincerely appreciate your valuable time and thank you for sharing your experiences in your roles as school board trustees. So thank you, and we appreciate our teacher fellows.
Thank you so much. And teacher fellows, I'm sorry we missed you, but again, it's great to have you here tonight as well. Thank you so much for your presence. Our fifth item on the agenda is item 5.01, the superintendent's report. Dr. Royster.
Thank you, Dr. Stiles. Before I introduce the superintendent's report, I want to recognize one of the personnel that was approved in the consent agenda. We want to recognize and welcome back to the district Ron Jones. Ron, if you'd stand. Some of you may recall Ron, he served as the number 2 person in food and nutrition services up to a few years ago when he left us to head up food and nutrition services at the State Department of Education. He did that and led that operation in an exemplary manner. Left there and has done great work leading food and nutrition services in Spartanburg School District 6. And with the leaving of Joe Urban, we are most pleased to introduce tonight Ron Jones to become the new director of school food and nutrition services of Greenville County Schools and to carry forward the great work and the tremendous legacy that Joe Urban leaves with us. And we know that it is in good and capable hands. And Ron, we appreciate you being here with us tonight. And I believe you have your wife with you tonight, Teresa, as well. Welcome back. As is tradition in the month of November, in recognition of public education, I'd like to cede the time from the superintendent's report to the district teacher of the year. Lindsay Zika, who is this year's teacher of the year, truly focuses on making connections with her students. She does so by drawing on examples from her own childhood, as well as her experiences as a global educator. She was fortunate to learn from many amazing teachers, but her mother's example as a speech-language pathologist shined brightest. Growing up, she watched her mother make connections with students and their families. Today, Ms. Zika carries on this tradition in order to ensure all of her students know she believes they can succeed. Not only has this been a top priority as a multilingual learner program teacher, that's a lot to say, as a teacher at Greenville Senior High Academy, but also in her previous experiences as an educator in California, Mexico, Belize, and the Dominican Republic. For Ms. Zika, the educational process begins with learning each student's story. She sees her primary job as helping students connect with their strengths as well as support their specific needs. Her students know she has high expectations for them, which she fully believes they're capable of reaching. Her main goal as a multilingual learner program teacher is to prepare students to be productive members of society. The first step she takes is by helping them to acquire the social and academic English skills they need to graduate from high school, succeed in college or vocational training, and successfully join the workforce. Students need to understand what opportunities are available and how to access those opportunities. Ms. Zika encourages her students to venture out of their comfort zones and take advantage of all of those opportunities. This empowers them to take ownership of their learning, self-advocate, and choose classes aligned with their goals so she can then provide support and encouragement to each of them to reach those goals. She has done an exemplary job representing her profession, the district, and public education. It's my pleasure now to introduce her to you, for her to share her thoughts as the Greenville County Schools Teacher of the Year. And she's here supported by other members of the Teacher Forum, which are Teachers of the Year from Greenville County Schools. So as she approaches the dais and the microphone, I'd ask for each of them to stand so we might recognize them.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Royster, for giving me this time to speak tonight and for your constant efforts to seek out the best for Greenville County's teachers and students. So I'd like to start by asking you all to take a moment and think back to your favorite teacher. Hopefully now you all have a favorite teacher in mind. And I'd like to ask you to take another moment to think about why that teacher was your favorite. So I'm guessing that most people picked that teacher not really for the content that they taught or how nicely decorated their classroom was, but I would guess that most of us picked that teacher because of how they made us feel. Because great teachers, and there are a lot of great teachers in Greenville County. In fact, there are a lot of great teachers in this room tonight. And the thing that makes them great, above all else, is that feeling that students have when they walk into their classrooms. Great teachers make students feel capable, they make them feel important, and they make them feel excited to learn. Great teachers make students feel connected. And so that's been my theme this year, the connections we make as teachers and the bridges that we build to our students. But the thing about bridges is that they need a strong foundation. Bridges only work with support. And so tonight, I would like to thank you, members of the board, for being that foundation that teachers need so that we can connect to our students. I'd like to highlight some of the most important ways that your support has made an impact on us as teachers. First, I want to thank you for passing the budget last June that included a pay increase for teachers. When you invest in teachers, it allows us to focus on our students. And I say this not only as a career teacher, but also as a Greenville County Schools parent. To me, investing in teachers ensures that the amazing teachers I see every day will be there as my daughter continues her journey through Greenville County Schools. Another important part of that budget was the bonus increase for mentor teachers from $250 to $1,000. Thank you so much for investing in such a valuable support for new teachers and for creating this leadership opportunity for experienced teachers. I also want to mention something that is especially close to my heart as a multilingual learner program, which is a mouthful, as Dr. Royster said, MLP, Multilingual Learner Program, formerly called ESOL, ESOL, MLP teacher, which is the part of the budget that reduced the ratio of MLP teachers to students. As MLP teachers, we do so much more than just teach English. It's not just language and grammar. We work hard to collaborate with our fellow teachers so that multilingual students, who make up almost 20% of the Greenville County student population, have the support and the accommodations they need to be successful in all their classes. It's a huge job, and I'm so grateful to you as board members for helping us to be more effective at it by reducing teacher-student ratios. Doing so really sets us and our students up for success. In the same way, by reducing the counselor-to-student ratio over the past several years, you've helped to prioritize the social and emotional needs of Greenville County students. This is so important to student well-being and overall success. But your support for teachers goes far beyond the budget. We also appreciate your efforts to connect with us in Teacher Forum, and learn more about what's happening in our classrooms. We truly value the time and the effort you've made to collaborate with us teachers as you make important decisions that affect us and our students. And finally, thank you for using your roles as leaders in our community to share the great work happening in Greenville County classrooms every day. When you use your platforms to highlight the positive things going on in our schools, you shine a light on teachers and on public education. Thank you for being our champions in this important way. So I just want to wrap up by reiterating my gratitude for all you do to support teachers. Research tells us how essential that teacher-student relationship is to student success. And your support as board members helps us to go in every day and connect with our students. Earlier, we all remembered how special it is to feel this connection with a teacher. And I believe every single child in Greenville County deserves to feel this way. So I thank you, members of the board, for your vital role in making that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zika. I'll just have to say that was beautiful and inspirational. Thank you very much for sharing. Our next 6 items are action items, and our first action item is item 6.01, resolution regarding school resource officers and bus drivers as essential workers. We have a recommended motion from the Committee of the Whole to approve the resolution regarding school resource officers and bus drivers as essential employees. This motion does not require a second. Any discussion? All right. Do we have any?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Presley, Dr. Presley, excuse me.
Dr. Stiles, I move to amend the resolution with the revised version posted to board docs.
Thank you. And that revised version, I believe, is dated with today's date.
Correct.
All right. We have a recommended motion from Dr. Presley. We have a second from Ms. Leventis Wells. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carries. Our next action item is 6.02, Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. We have a recommended motion from the Committee of the Whole to accept the fiscal year 2023 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report as presented. The motion does not require a second. Any discussion? Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Our next action item is 6.03, City of Greer Recreational Trail Easement at Greer High School. We have a recommended motion from the Committee of the Whole to approve the City of Greer's easement request at Greer High School. This motion does not require a second. Any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carries. Our next action item is 6.04, naming of the Fine Arts Center Jazz Studio. We have a recommended motion from the Committee of the Whole to approve the naming of the Fine Arts Center Jazz Studio in honor of Mr. Steve Watson. This motion does not require a second. Any discussion? Yes, Ms. Leventis Wells.
Thank you. I would just like to say that Steve Watson is an incredible individual who has done so much for the Fine Arts Center. He could not be recognized in a better way, and he's reached the lives and touched the lives of so many who have attended the Fine Arts Center over the years. I can't think of a better way to have his memory continue in that building as it will be with the naming of the Fine Arts Center Jazz Studio in his honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Leventis Wells. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Our next action item is 6.05, property acquisition for Donaldson Career Center replacement. We have a recommended motion from the administration to approve the purchase of 18.23 acres of property necessary for the replacement of the existing Donaldson Career Center as presented. I need a maker of the motion. Yes. Ms. Leventis West.
Make the motion to approve the purchase of 18.23 acres of property necessary for the replacement of the existing Donaldson Career Center as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Leventis Wells. And we have a second by Ms. Brett. Any discussion? Comments? Roll call?
Yes.
Ms. Brett?
Yes.
Mr. Cochran?
Yes.
Ms. Doolin?
Yes.
Goodwin Caldwell? Ms. Leventis Wells?
Yes.
Ms. Middleton?
Yes.
Morrison Fair?
Yes.
Ms. Mosley?
Yes.
Dr. Presley?
Yes.
Dr. Stiles?
Yes. The motion carries unanimously. The school district has bought 18.23 acres of property adjacent to Chapel Road for $1,002,650. Our final action item is item 6.06, budget adjustment for Fork Shoals School Addition. We have a recommended motion from the administration to increase the budget for Fork Shoals School Addition by $4,090,800 for a total estimated project cost of $20,217,551. I need a maker of the motion.
I'll motion to increase the budget of the Fork Shoals School Addition by $4,090,800 for a total estimated project cost of $20,217,551.
Thank you, Ms. Doolin. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Middleton. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Our next agenda item is 7.01, committee liaison reports. Do we have any committee members who would like to share tonight the work of their committees? Anyone? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Morrison Fair. You go right ahead.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I would just like to remind everybody that the Legislative Advocacy Conference will be held in Charleston this weekend, and we expect to see each of you there from December the 1st through the 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Middleton?
I'd like to just make a small note that last night we had the dedication of the Pat Saddeth alumni room at Greer High School. Very well attended, and he was very pleased. The room was amazing. It was so interesting. If you get a chance to see it, you should. It has a lot of very old pictures, sports memorabilia, very nice. Anyways, he's a legacy and a leader in our community, especially in Greer. So I want to just make mention of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a lovely night. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on to our final agenda item, which is 8.01, the monthly financial report. Dr. Royster, would you like to speak to this item?
As you've already noted, you'll find in your packet this year's first monthly financial report. I do not believe there's anything out of the ordinary or unusual. Revenue is tracking as we would expect it to track. Expenditure is the same. You see the fund balance, if you look at the graph for fund balance, you'll notice that line follows the previous year's pattern. It's lower than some previous years. I think that's primarily due to the infusion of ESSER dollars in those years. Certainly either Ms. Stack or I'll be glad to answer any question you might have about the information contained in your packet.
Any questions? Okay. Hearing none, this concludes our agenda for tonight. Again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your presence, and I just say, wow, what an inspirational night. It's been a joy to be with you tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Chair,
Yes.
I would like to extend for 30 minutes so no one can go home. No. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, Ms. Leventis Wells has made a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor of the motions? Oh, excuse me, we have, okay, we have a second.
I believe she's also in favor of
Everybody
going on.
wants to stay tonight. Okay, we have a second by Ms. Michelle Goodwin Caldwell. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:40 p.m. Have a great evening.